Hello to all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues. Welcome to Storytime with Ray, where we read the
First
King
Chronicles
James
chapter
Version
24.
of the Bible from
Now these are the
Genesis to
divisions of the sons
Revelation,
of Aaron,
to
the
take
sons
in
of
the
Aaron,
wisdom and
Nadab
understanding from
and
the
Abihu,
Word.
Eleazar
Thank you
and
for
Ithamar.
joining, and
But
God
Nadab and
bless.
Abihu died before their father and had no children. Therefore Eleazar and Ithamar executed the priest's office. And David distributed them both, Zadok of the sons of Eleazar and Ahimelech of the sons of Ithamar, according to their offices in their service. And there were more chief men found of the sons of Eleazar than of the sons of Ithamar, and thus were they divided. Among the names of Eleazar there were 16 chief men of the house of their fathers, and 8 among the sons of Ithamar, according to the house of their fathers. Thus were they divided by lot, one sort with another. For the governors of the sanctuary and governors of the house of God were of the sons of Eleazar and of the sons of Ithamar. And Shemaiah the son of Nethanel, the scribe, one of the Levites, wrote them before the king and the princes, and Zadok the priest, and Ahimelech the son of Abiathar, and before the chief of the fathers of the priests and Levites, one principal household, being taken for Eleazar, and one taken for Ithamar. Now the first lot came forth to Jehoiarib, the second to Jediah, the third Harin, the fourth Serim, the fifth Malchiah, the sixth Mimim, the seventh Hakkoz, the eighth Abijah, the ninth to Jeshua, the 10th to Shechaniah, the 11th to Eliashib, the 12th to Jachim, the 13th to Huppah, the 14th to Jeshurun, the 15th to Bilgah, the 16th to Immer, the 17th to Hizir, the 18th to Apses, the 19th to Pethaliah, the 20th to Jehezekel, the 21st to Jachin, the 22nd to Gamul, the 23rd to Deliah, the 24th to Maziah. These were the orderings of them in their service to come into the house of the Lord, according to their manner, under Aaron their father, as the Lord God of Israel had commanded him. And the rest of the sons of Levi were these: of the sons of Amram, Shubal; of the sons of Shubal, Jediah; concerning Rehabiah. Of the sons of Rehabiah, the first was Ishiah; of the Izharites, Shelomoth; of the sons of Shelomoth, Jahath; and of the sons of Hebron, Jeriah the first; Amariah the second; Jahaziel the third; Jechamim the fourth; of the sons of Uziel, Misha; of the sons of Misha, Shemir. The brother of Misha was Ishiah; of the sons of Ishiah, Zechariah. The sons of Merari were Mali and Mushi. The sons of Josiah, Beno. The sons of Merari, by Isaiah, Beno and Shoham, and Zakur and Ibri. Of Mali came Eleazar, who had no sons. Concerning Kish, the son of Kish was Jeremiel. The sons also of Mushi and Mali, and Eder and Jeremoth. These were the sons of the Levites after the house of their fathers. These likewise cast lots over against their brethren, the sons of Aaron, in the presence of David the king, and Zadok and Ahimelech, and the chief of the fathers of the priests, and Levites, even the principal fathers, over against their younger brethren.
Thank you so much for joining and listening to this beautiful chapter. I highly recommend it as a personal read. Please join me on the next chapter as we dive in deeper into the Word. If you do love the Word as much as I do, express so by liking, sharing the Word with your loved ones, and even subscribing. And may the Lord bless you each and every day.